Because of all the shows Kris and I took part in this year, we have had many exchanges with so many people. Many, like thousands. 300 people here at this show, 100 people there at that show, and it all ends up. Out of the many things we learned this year, there are a list of noteworthy things that stick out to me. One of which is this handful of questions we were repeatedly asked almost verbatim by people who never even met each other. It was interesting to see so many people on a similar path or who were holding similar beliefs. In my reflective morning, I felt that there was a spotlight on one question in particular and how multifaceted it is and can be. The question is usually, what does it mean to be a positive person? Often accompanied with, where do our not so great feelings have their place in being a positive person? The statement we repeatedly hear is, it's not possible to be a positive person all of the time. Or, I try to be positive, but it's so hard with all the stress I feel or things that I have going on. The misconception we observe is one person saying to another, you say you're a positive person, yet, as if being a positive person is synonymous with being a doormat or doesn't encompass room for the fullness of one's life experiences, or to be the recipient of not so loving or wise words or treatment from the individual who is making the statement. Or the reverse of that, where someone says they are a positive person, but then we observe these toxic beliefs and habits that they are allowing to run rampant within themselves. It's not for us to judge, but we do understand why they're getting the results in life that they are. As I said, it's a very dynamic question or subject with many parts to it. Explaining it is quite literally the tip of the iceberg, like a pebble's worth. Often, the question is asked with a varying amount of frustration or sadness. Kris and I understand the feelings and thoughts behind the question. Before I was here, I was there. Every day allows us to learn, practice, and evolve. Part of being a positive person is choosing to do that. When you don't know how or if it's possible, being consistently positive seems just out of reach, or like you know it's there but can't find it because it's hiding from you. Or maybe even you question what's wrong with you. Why can't you get in touch with it or be it or find it? The people who ask want to be positive. And maybe they even are a positive person sometimes. But they go through these highs and lows that they want to stop or lessen, or they question if it's possible, or the yuckiest option of all, resign to the belief that it's not possible. Ew, God, please don't. Trust me, it's possible. But those who ask because in their heart, they know it's possible. They want to be happy, to be consistently positive. So they bravely reach again and again for answers because they can't settle in misery. Even when we don't know answers in our mind, our heart and soul will always lead us to the way that is for our highest good. They will never let us settle. What we know to be true is that in most cases, people don't know how, or how to move past things that seemingly block them from experiencing daily positivity. It's from understanding this that real solutions can be created or things be understood. Self-work is needed to find the happiness and stability one seeks, to go within and do the work. Or, as my Buddha master would say, go within, find yourself, be happy. The work is never done, but it does always serve us. When I used to hear the question, what does it mean to be a positive person? I would flash back to my journey, the crappy feelings I felt and how I lived because of the way I felt, as well as how I felt searching for the answers that they are now seeking. All of the people I learned with, the key lessons that serve as the markers of my wisdom development, my remembering, they form like chapters in this interior book that reside in my being titled The Journey of My Soul in This Life. Life as Teresa. Now as I hear it, I smile, aside from thinking about my own journey. Faces of people who helped or had exchanges with us cascade by. Where they were and where they are now, I feel this unbridled happiness and gratitude to know how better off we all are. I feel this light that feels like it's beaming out of my chest when people ask this question, because it's so absolutely possible to feel good, to be positive, for things to work out and to love life, for positivity to always exist even in our darkest days. To have that feeling is a mindset, a knowing, an understanding. I feel blissful that I know this, that I live this, and genuine happiness to play a role in other people's experience who are also learning it. Those who are now coming to know, understand, and live it. There's really not very much in the way of providing service to others that I would rather do because of how much I love it. I love watching myself or others unlearn and release all the thoughts, feelings, and belief that stand between where we are now, where they are now, where I am now, who I, we, they want to be, and who they, I truly are. I know that what Zenshine offers actually works. I know people are feeling many things when they are asking the question, but commonly it is this feeling of being alone in this ocean of stimuli, surrounded by other people who have advice or the answer. Go to YouTube. You'll find them. They're in multiple commercials. Expectations, demands, responsibilities, deadlines, the daily grind, dreams, negative beliefs, words, actions, or thoughts from hurt people who see through their lens of hurt and anger, bombarded by media, content, advertisements, just stuff, a sea of stuff, and all of our interior reactions to the stuff. When we don't have the tools to respond or deal with the stuff, or where we weren't taught or didn't learn how to deal with the stuff, which is most people, we unintentionally let ourselves get swallowed by it because we have no idea how powerful we actually are and how impactful we are in our own lives. It looks, feels, and sounds like chaos that you want to just turn off. But at the same time, it's life, and you are looking for the best way to live it, for happiness, as well as a solution to be the positive person you aspire to be. Trying to safely choose who or what to reach out to, or questioning who to trust, and if they have the best intentions for you, or the answers that actually align to you. Isolating yourself from life experiences that if you weren't where you were at mentally and or emotionally, you would take part in. As horrible as it feels to be there, though, there is a way out. And the way out of it or through it all depends on you. From experience, I can tell you, you feel giddy, immeasurable happiness to be on the other side of it. Once you make the shift of mind, heart, and body, it permanently changes you. You can't go back to that lesser way of living. You can't even fathom how to get there. The road falls away from being behind you, and there is no road back to being there. There is only where you are now and going forward. In this time-space reality that we live in, it oozes with free will, which allows so many things to be subjective. Everyone has their own personal view. But to be positive, to be a positive person, positive in this time-space reality, consistently positive in this time-space reality, what does that mean? Collins' dictionary defines being a positive person as if you are positive about things, you are hopeful, confident, and think of the good aspects of a situation rather than the bad ones. Even in reading that, we can begin to see where the self-work is, perpetually looking on the bright side, training yourself to reside in that hopeful place, that place of wonder and possibility. Not just possibility, but trust that happy, wanted experiences will and can be yours throughout your day-to-day experience, that things do work out. So what is the reality versus the perception of what it means to be positive, a positive person? A positive person doesn't want to suffer. A positive person creates and holds their own happiness. A positive person has a good sense of humor. They are free from or have a very short list of grievances or regrets that get shorter all the time, opting rather to see and accept the whole of themselves and each vision and version of themselves as the people they were before the actions that they took, which helped them to become who they are now. A positive person is honest with themselves, with others, and they live their truth unapologetically. A positive person focuses on growth, gratitude, love, truth, productivity, meaning that they put their focus on things that prosper and grow, healthy things, not things that perpetuate problems. A positive person is buoyant. When something pushes them down, they find a way to get back up. They don't stay focused on staying down or linger on what got them down. They are the people who always get back up because they have an energy within them that causes them to love life and reach for better circumstance and always believe in better days. They have an inner fire. They are focused on the blessings that they have in the moment, which creates more blessings. They create life, a feeling of being alive, inspired, happy, loved, and liberated within themselves and in the people, places, and things they take part in. They create and recreate themselves after every adversity, making each one a jumping point to reach to the next greatest height. They shed false beliefs, ideas, and feelings that don't serve them and consistently are upholding, learning, or developing better ways to feel and think or do things. A positive person sees the better of things, people, circumstances, and situations. Truthfully, but better. Consistently and constantly sharpening their mind to have clear sight and a higher wisdom. To be love. This doesn't mean everyone will love you or you will please everyone. What you will be is real, and the right people will love, respect, and get you. The rest will have their own journey with their own things. Your vibe attracts your tribe. From a place of being genuine, you will attract genuine people to your life. We are source. And when we know that we are source, even in temporary moments of frustration, discomfort, or pain, positive-minded people focus on the flower growing out of the sidewalk, not the cracks in it. If we let the moment be fleeting, it will be fleeting. But if we hold it and think poorly about it and bring self-created pain to the experience, it lasts as long as we make it to be. In simplistic terms, positive feeds life. To feel positive, to be positive, is to give life, to contribute in some pleasant or beneficial way, to be love, to be light, to bring upliftment or happiness where you go, to focus on the silver lining and the more that exists and becomes as we set our sights on it. To be positive, one must feel positive even when we have other feelings in addition to it. To help something grow or sustain growth, to constantly create and hold a space for love. To know the tide will always be or turn in an uplifting direction. It's creating an inner baseline that you make a point to keep your mind fixed on. Practicing kindness, gratitude, goodness, gladness, blessings, progress, compassion, and understanding in every moment that we possibly can. We have more moments in a day than we can count. We get to choose in every single moment what we create, what we see, how we feel, how we respond. 5 positive thoughts is better than 0. 100 is greater than 50. Do what you can in every moment to uphold your values and truth, your baseline. Eventually, our practice becomes excellence. Striving and effort become effortlessly being. When you know this, you understand that value of the compound effect. Each little action and interaction add up. They become your life. They become you. Being a positive person, having a positive mindset, a positive life is created by happy and uplifting beliefs. Perspective is the key to happiness, as well as to be forgiving, patient, and adaptable. A positive life is not the absence of hard things, but seeing the lesson and blessing in all things. As you practice mindfulness, getting stuck becomes not stuck for as long, until it becomes not stuck at all. And that's fun and happy. Laughing at how the thing that once bothered you so much doesn't bother you at all in the slightest bit now is marvelous. Suffering is a choice. But because we often are not taught how to be radically accountable in and for our lives, we often believe things or people outside of us are to blame for the way that we feel. And we look outside of ourselves for love, acceptance, validation, and ways to feel better. When we do this, we give away our power. We fail to realize or accept that we need to love, accept, and validate ourselves. Only after we do this can we have balanced, healthy, and successful relationships with other people. People who see themselves as victims get victimized. Martyrs get burned at their stake. Saviors get sacrificed. The only real way to live is to be a liberator, to be so free in yourself, to live so authentically, to do good and be good, to live with love and light as your guide. Without your own love, we project our fears and wounds upon others, creating ideas of them and treating them based on our idea of them, or seeking others to plug the void we feel inside. No one else can ever satisfy our craving for love the way that our own love can, no matter how much they love you. It will never be enough. You will always be looking for something else or your next fix. There will always be the next fight that we create in order to get our needs met. The greater our suffering, the more we need that self-work. The greater our self-awareness, self-love, and accountability becomes, the less we suffer until it's not at all. A positive life isn't the void of lessons, pain, disagreements, frustrations, although they greatly lessen as you practice mindfulness. It's that even when you find yourself in them, you learn from them. You create ways out of them. You become evolved, stronger, and wiser. Your compassion, love, and understanding, your joy deepens and expands as you navigate each life experience. You attract less lower energy until not at all. And when your lessons show up, you generally spend very little time in them because you make choices that don't make things worse. Joy and love rest on your mind daily. You can feel, see, and be them as you move through your lessons. Negativity doesn't give a crap about life or making things better. It doesn't want to make anything better. It's miserable. It wants to sustain and share the misery. It doesn't like happiness. It can't stand joy. It hosts on life like a virus because it creates no life of its own. It's content in letting things not be happy, harmonious, or in a state of well-being, for things to get worse. In or with negativity, there is no accountability. There is projection, deflection, and misery. Negativity is suffering. Negativity is pain. A positive person will not become fixed on things that cause suffering. Although there are temporary moments that cause us to react or respond, things that happen in life, but rather than avoiding pain points, positive people see their adversities as opportunities and their hardships as a small black dot upon a paper. You are not fixed on the dot so much as effortlessly able to see and are mindful of the whole page, the whole rest of the page, and life beyond that page. Some dots, like the death of a loved one, leave their mark on us. It's a process to walk through that. While other dots are so incredibly temporary and don't deserve all the energy we pour into them. What matters most is what we do with the dot, who we make ourselves to be after we have been marked, or when the dots are drawn. Being a truly positive person consistently or daily is a process with a learning curve, but with self-discipline, wisdom, we become our true selves. And our false identities, as well as many black dots, vanish as if they never were to begin with. All light beings are Source. Source dwells within us at all times, even when we are not aware of it. Source is the whole of us, yet it is not the monkey mind or the reptilian brain. That is why our greatest wisdom is found in our higher mind, in our hearts, not our minds. To be in alignment with Source around us, receiving and experiencing our wanted versions of living, means to be connected to Source that dwells within inside of us. This is where happiness comes from. This is the birthplace of joy, and is also where we sustain our feelings of joy. Joy is gladness, not based on circumstances. This requires us to get real, to be real. Firstly, most importantly, with ourselves so that we can channel and work from and understand who our true self is. But then we also fearlessly and confidently share our true selves with others. You have to be strong to be authentic, to be self-defined and stand in your truth, your power, confidently, yet humbly, so that you continuously evolve and refrain from judgment, false idea, and ego traps. To love, respect, and honor yourself, but not be defined by validation or approval that you do or don't get from others. It would be incomplete to only love ourselves and not have love and care for others, to treat people as we want to be treated, to create that world that we want to live in. Regardless of who doesn't do it with us, though, those who do are where our focus should be, are where our focus is held, because those who do change our lives for the better. Having a baseline of care and compassion impacts the quality of our lives as well as our success in life. Our interactions with others is where we find our greatest opportunities to cultivate and refine ourselves, as well as how we respond and interact. It's easy to love when we or they are withdrawn or out of sight, yet to be in it all and still stand in love, still uphold love and hold space for it, create space for it, continuously clear the space to the highest energy and ideal, that requires great power and self-discipline. That is born from a big heart, from great love. Perception is one of your greatest allies, and the importance of conditioning it to serve you is immeasurable. Many options and opportunities live in a single second. What you see, and therefore what you experience, is born from where you put your focus and energy moment to moment. Abraham Hicks has a great way of providing clarity about this when Esther explains, one thought is a thread that acts as a magnet or a point of attraction for all other ones, that all the other ones are going to be attracted to. If that one thought is a happy thought, it will quickly manifest a matching thought and another and so on. But if the thought is mediocre or worse, whether you want it to happen or not, you can be sure that the threads that follow will also be energetic matches. And when you know that to be fundamentally true, the thing that we have to do is take a step back and say, how much do I want to suffer? How much is what I'm willing to experience? When is it enough? The space between one thought and the hundreds or thousands of thoughts we think in a day is a matter of minutes. Quickly, our single thread becomes a blanket. How much energy we put behind our thoughts and feelings creates momentum. As Esther Hicks points out, a little momentum from standing next to a car on a flat road moving from a parked position isn't so bad, but standing in line with a car that is flying down a large hill is. The stronger we feel about something, the more we beat a drum about it or create a belief around it, impacts how we feel, react, and respond. Overhauling the mind and emotions from what and how we have been taught to think or feel by our previous ideas, coping mechanisms, mainstream society, nature versus nurture experiences, as well as how we think and feel, the line of thinking that will or won't serve us, to be mindful in being the presence of love and light. That's what we have to get our head around. The practice of detachment is another important component. In short, Buddha holds up a glass. He says to his people that he's speaking to, I love this glass. I love its shape. I love the way that it looks, the way it feels, the way it fits in my hand, how much water it holds. But eventually, one day, this glass is going to break. If I accept this, then I will love this glass for all the days I have it. And when the day comes that it does eventually break, I will still love it and appreciate that I had it while I embrace the new moment. In Buddhism, the concept of detachment plays a large role in mindset. This asks us to reflect on our values, gaps, and sense of self. Attachments to people, places, and in my opinion, especially situations, creates our suffering. Attachments are not synonymous with love. Our attachments are born from ego. One of our most interesting facets of the human experience is learning how to be your true self with or despite your ego. Releasing attachment asks us to recognize and trust what is meant for us, meant to be ours, meant for us to experience without conflict. But what is not meant to be ours or no longer ours asks us to let it go gracefully, that we will always be supported, even if it's not in the ways that we imagine. It asks us to be in our power, confidently yield our will, but understand that we don't control all things, especially people. It asks us to make gratitude our king and love our master, to appreciate the now moment and allow newness to be in all the new moments, to not be defined by the past, fear, or worry, to embrace each new day, allowing your dreams to create your desired life. And that is only a slightly bigger rock than the pebbles worth of discussing this subject matter. I hope it helps.